What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the video. You know what it is. It's Miami Dolphins record prediction, and that out of the way, we'll hop right into week one. So for week one, the Dolphins will be on the road taking on the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, this game, I think it could be a good game, but I think the Dolphins are fit to win a game like this just because the Colts roster isn't really that good, and they have some concerns at quarterback, because they have Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson in that department. So not the greatest. I think the Dolphins are going to win in week one and improve to 1-0. All right, and heading to week two, the Dolphins will be playing against the New England Patriots at home. This will be the first matchup between these two teams. And it's a division rivalry, as I've mentioned. Those can seriously go either way if you believe in one team over the other. But, I mean, I still think the Dolphins shouldn't have much trouble with this game. It's at home, and the Patriots are still a very young team, so it's probably going to take them a minute or two to get things figured out. So I have the Dolphins winning this game and improving their record to 2-0. All right, heading to week three, the Dolphins will be on the road taking on the Buffalo Bills for the first time this season. As I mentioned in my last video, I trust the Bills more than I trust the Dolphins, especially since they're at home. The Bills have also really had the Dolphins' number these past few years, so I'm going to give the edge to the Bills here and say the Dolphins drop down to 2-1. And after that Thursday night football game against the Bills, they will be playing against the New York Jets at home for week four. And, I mean, they're going to have a longer time to recover from this game than the Jets because they played earlier the last week. And they're a better team overall, so I see no issue with the Dolphins winning this game. I say they win this game and improve to 3-1. All right, heading to week five, the Dolphins will be on the road taking on the Carolina Panthers. I think the Panthers will be a better team next year, or this year, rather. But I still trust the Dolphins roster more. I trust Tua more than I trust Bryce Young at this current point in time. Not that Bryce Young is bad, because I think he will be pretty good. But Tua has proven himself more, and they have a way better offense. So I'm going to give the edge to the Dolphins here and have them win this one and improve to 4-1. All right, heading to week six, we have what should be a fun game between the Chargers and the Dolphins. The Dolphins will be at home, and this one, the reason I think it'll be fun is because Justin Herbert is a borderline top 5 quarterback, and the Dolphins have, two very quick wide receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, so this has the potential to be a shootout. And unfortunately for the Dolphins, I am going to pick the Chargers just because Justin Herbert is better than Tua, and I think Jim Harbaugh is better than Mike McDaniel as well. So despite the Dolphins having better wide receivers, I'm still going to pick the Chargers and have the Dolphins drop down to 4-2. All right, and heading to week seven, the Dolphins will be playing on the road against the Cleveland Browns. And this should be an easy win for the Dolphins. I don't see why it wouldn't be, just because, you've got a team that has a good offense in the Dolphins going up against a team that doesn't have a good offense in the Cleveland Browns. And I will give the Browns some credit because their defense is actually pretty good, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to slow down this Dolphins roster or keep up with them on the scoreboard. So I'm going to say the Dolphins win this game and improve their record to 5-2. All right, heading to week eight, the Dolphins will be on the road taking on the Atlanta Falcons. And this game has the opportunity to be a shootout. I mean, the Falcons have an up-and-coming quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. Up-and-coming might be a little generous because he's only played 3 games, but I think by this point in the season, he will have his feet wet. And I think this is going to be an unfortunate loss for the Dolphins, just because I feel like this is one of those games where, not necessarily a trap game because the Falcons aren't that bad, but I feel like they might overlook the Falcons just because the Falcons might not have the greatest record at this point in time. So I'm going to say the Falcons sneak one away and drop the Dolphins down to 5-3. All right, and heading to week number 9, they will be on Thursday Night Football playing against the Baltimore Ravens. And this one's pretty tough for the Dolphins because the Ravens have arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, and Lamar Jackson. I mean, you could argue him, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, maybe Jalen Hurts if you were really wanting to be spicy, but I don't like the Dolphins' odds in this game just because Tua is just not on the level of Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to say that the Dolphins lose this game and drop down to 5-4. All right, heading to week 10, the Dolphins will be at home playing against the Buffalo Bills for the second time this season. And this one, I feel like this could be one the Dolphins steal just because they're coming off a mini bye week. The Bills have owned the Dolphins for a few years, as I've already mentioned, but the Dolphins are most definitely going to have this game circled on their calendar, so I actually think the Dolphins are going to win this game and improve their record to 6-4. All right, heading to week 11, the Dolphins will be playing. It's not really a home game because both of these teams are going to be playing in Spain, but they're listed as the home team. They'll be playing against the Washington Commanders, and this is one I actually think the Dolphins could win this one too, just because they're going to be in Spain, and Spain is a very hot climate, and the Dolphins thrive in hot climates. I know that's not what they want to hear because it gets cold in January and February, but they do, and I think they will thrive more in an environment like this than the Commanders will. Even though I do think the Commanders are better, I think the Dolphins are going to have a better game this week because of the increased temperature in Spain. So I'm going to say the Dolphins win this game and improve their record to 7-4. All right, week 12 is the Dolphins' bye week. They're sitting at 7-4. Definitely in good position to make the playoffs as long as they don't choke the rest of the season away. All right, for week 13, the Dolphins will have probably about as easy of a free win as they'll ever have. They'll be playing against the New Orleans Saints at home. If you watch my Saints video, you already know what I'm going to say, but I mean, the Dolphins, they're going to beat the Saints. There's no way in hell they lose a game like this. They're going to win and improve their record to 8-4. All right, heading to week 14, the Dolphins will be playing on the road against the New York Jets. This will be the second matchup between them. And this one, I feel like this could be a trap game. The Dolphins have won 3 in a row to this point. They're sitting pretty at 8-4. But at the same time, like I mentioned earlier, they don't thrive in cold climates, and it's going to get colder. It's December, and it's in New York. New York is a very cold place. So I have the Jets stealing one away from the Dolphins and having them drop to 8-5. All right, heading to week 15, the Dolphins will be playing on the road again against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this one, I don't love this matchup for the Dolphins either. It's in December. It's in a very harsh environment because the Steelers stadium is about as harsh as it gets for the opposing fans. The Steelers have one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the few defenses that I feel like could really stop Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So I'm going to say that the Dolphins lose this game and Jalen Ramsey gets his revenge on the Dolphins by dropping them down to 8-6. All right, heading to week 16, the Dolphins will be playing at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is a matchup, very high, could be very high scoring. I mean, there's a reason why it's on Sunday Night Football. And I think it'll be fun. And I'm going to have to say the Bengals. I know Dolphins fans are probably hating me right now, having them lose 3 in a row. But this is what it comes down to. Do the Bengals have a bad defense? Of course they do. But at the same time, I really don't think the Dolphins' defense is that amazing either, so I feel like they're going to struggle just as much to slow down Joe Burrow and this offense. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback. I mean, he's going to beat most other quarterbacks in a shootout, and that's what I think this game's going to come down to. So I'm going to say the Dolphins lose this game and go down to 8-7. All right, heading to week 17, the Dolphins will be playing at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a little Florida Bowl matchup here. And this one, I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I just think that Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are going to be a lot for the Bucs defense to handle. And I mean, I mentioned that the Dolphins aren't good in the cold, but it's not going to be very cold here. I mean, it's going to be in Miami. It's a home game. It ain't going to be that cold. And I'm going to say that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to have great games and improve the Dolphins' record to 9-7. And ending their season, at least the regular season, the Dolphins will be playing on the road against the New England Patriots for their second matchup. I had the Dolphins winning the first matchup in week 2, and that was partially because it was at home and earlier in the season. And I think this one, I think the Patriots are going to win just because I feel like Drake May is going to really start to come into his own at this point in the season. So I think that's going to get the Patriots to steal one from the Dolphins and have their final record be sitting at 9-8. And that's going to be their final record, 9-8. It's about where they were last year. Last year they were 8-9. It should probably be good enough for second place in this division. Now, playoffs, that's a whole different story because I think the AFC is going to be pretty tough, so I'm not sure if 9-8 will be enough. It might be, but you never know. I haven't done all the predictions yet. But so far, that the best they could hope for is the 7 seed because I have the Broncos and the Chargers have better records than them, and obviously I'm not including the division winners. They have a tied record with the Houston Texans, which, I don't know who would get the tiebreaker at this point in time, if 9-8 would be good enough. So they probably won't make the playoffs. But, I mean, the thing about the Dolphins is they just haven't really proved to me that they can win when it matters. And that's why I had them losing so many games at the end of their season. It's just like they need to prove to me that they can win games when it matters. Because they're really good at winning games that, I don't want to say don't matter, but just games where there's not a lot of pressure on them. And until they can prove to me that they can win when it matters, I mean, this is kind of what I feel like they're going to do every single year. And also there's the concern with Tua and his health because he always gets concussions. And I mean, there's that. And I think it's just a lot of uncertainty with this team. But that's going to do it for the prediction video for the Dolphins. I'll have a New York Jets video out tomorrow. So stay tuned for that if you're interested, and if you're still watching, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.